There is a version of you that you haven't met yet. A version so cold, so calculated, and so relentlessly consistent that if you met him today, you wouldn't recognize him. You would fear him. He doesn't have a new face. He has the same eyes, but they are dead. Not dead to life, dead to weakness, dead to the endless negotiations with his own mind. Most people think discipline is about waking up early, eating clean, or working hard. They are wrong. That is routine. Routine is what you do when you are motivated. Real discipline is not a habit. It is an act of violence against your own weakness. It is the ability to look at your emotions, your fatigue, and your endless excuses and bury them alive in a grave of your own making. Machiavelli knew this. He didn't write for the saints. He wrote for the strategists. But Carl Jung went deeper. He understood that to hold power in a chaotic world, you cannot be soft. You cannot be predictable. You must integrate your shadow, or your shadow will drag you into the dirt. You must become a force of nature. When you become truly disciplined, people don't just respect you. They get nervous around you. They sense a shift. They see a man who can no longer be manipulated, a man who has stopped negotiating with himself. And that terrifies them, because a man who cannot be broken by his own mind cannot be broken by anything. You are here because you are tired, not physically tired, soul tired. You are exhausted by your own inconsistency. You are sick of making promises to yourself that you break by noon. You are watching others rise while you stay trapped in the same loop of motivation followed by collapse. You are what Jung called the puer aeternus, the eternal child, the child of promise who refuses to pay the price. I am going to show you the cure, but be warned, this is not self-help. This is self-destruction. We are going to destroy the weak, dependent, emotional part of you so that the true ruler can emerge. By the end of this video, you will understand the exact mechanics of your own sabotage. But you have to listen closely, because the secret isn't in what you add to your life. It's in what you are willing to kill. Most men are slaves. Slaves to their impulses, slaves to their phones, slaves to the opinions of people they don't even like. The moment you start this path, you stop being a slave. You become a sovereign, but sovereignty has a price. Are you willing to pay it? Phase 1. The discipline of the ghost. Machiavelli famously said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience who you really are." The average man tells you everything. He broadcasts his plans. He posts his workouts. He announces his new era on social media before he has done a single day of work. He seeks validation for effort he hasn't even exerted yet. This is why he fails. He releases the pressure valve before the engine even starts. But you must go deeper. In Jungian psychology, this is the persona, the mask you wear for society. You are using your persona to beg for approval. You are asking the world, is it okay if I become this? Stop asking. You must become a ghost. True discipline requires silence. It requires the dark. When you are constantly talking about your goals, you are not building power. You are projecting your shadow onto the world. Stop letting your emotions bleed out into the open. When you go silent, you create a vacuum. People become unsettled. They project their own fears onto you. They wonder what you are up to. They wonder why you don't need their attention anymore. This silence is your armor. It protects your intent. When you work in the dark, you make mistakes that no one sees. You correct them without judgment. You build strength without the interference of other people's doubt. Imagine disappearing for 6 months. No announcements, no explanations, just work, the gym, the business, the mind. You cut the noise. You cut the cheap dopamine. You cut the toxic friends who only love you when you are drinking with them. Then you re-emerge, but you don't come back the same. You come back sharper, heavier. Your presence feels different. You don't have to tell people you changed. They feel it. They see it in your posture. They hear it in the way you don't speak. Stop explaining yourself. Explanation is the language of the victim. The powerful do not justify their actions. They execute them. If you are tired, shut up and work. If you are hurt, shut up and heal. If you are winning, shut up and keep winning. Your results will speak, and their voice will be louder than anything you could ever say. Comment below if you are ready to enter the void. I build in silence. Phase 2. The body as the fortress. There is a misconception that disciplined people are robots, that they don't feel pain or boredom or sadness. That is a lie. The disciplined man feels everything. He feels the desire to sleep in. He feels the sting of rejection. He feels the overwhelming urge to quit. The difference is he does not care. He has detached his actions from his feelings. Jung called this the body as shadow. The unconscious is projected onto your physical body. If your mind is weak, your body is a mess. If your body is untrained, you have no anchor to reality. The puer aeternus escapes into his fantasies, his deep thoughts, his intellect. He thinks he is too smart for the system. He is not smart. He is hiding. You cannot rely on loving the grind. You will not love the grind at 4 a.m. You will hate it. You cannot rely on passion. Passion is a fickle flame. A gust of wind blows it out. You need something colder. You need duty. Discipline is the art of acting in direct opposition to how you feel. It is emotional alchemy. You take the lead weight of I don't want to, and you transmute it into the gold of I did it anyway. This is why you must train your body. Your body is the machine that executes the mind's commands. If you cannot discipline your body, you cannot discipline your mind. Paraphrasing Kant, you are only truly free when you choose to do what you don't want to do. Start practicing the 3-second rule. When the alarm goes off, you have 3 seconds. If you think about it for 4 seconds, your brain will convince you to stay in bed. Your brain is designed for comfort, not greatness. It is a survival mechanism, not a success mechanism. You must bypass the negotiation. 1, 2, 3, move. Do not think. Thinking is the enemy of execution. Every time you do the thing you hate, you deposit into your bank of evidence. You are proving to your unconscious that you are strong. You are proving to the shadow that you are the master. Over time, you rewire your neural pathways. You stop being a man who tries to be good. You become a machine that functions regardless of how it feels. This is how you become untouchable. Phase 3. The assassination of the inner critic. You want to blame your parents. You want to blame your trauma. You want to blame the system. But look at your life right now. Look at the repeated patterns. You are the one choosing to stay in the toxic relationship. You are the one choosing to doom scroll. You are the one refusing to put in the effort because you are terrified of failing. You are not a victim. You are a participant in your own stagnation. Jung called these autonomous fragments complexes. They are the puppet masters. When you get triggered, it is a complex pulling your strings. You feel a sudden wave of rage, a sudden wave of depression, a sudden urge to quit. You think that is you. It is not you. It is a foreign body living inside your skull. When the voice in your head says, I am too tired, you must stop negotiating with it. It is not a debate partner. It is a ghost. Your job is not to beat it in a logical argument. Your job is to observe it. Catch yourself the next time it speaks. Name it. Say it out loud. That is not me. That is the complex. As long as you believe that voice is your own true opinion, you will never escape it. You must assassinate it. You do this by acting in the exact opposite direction of its command. If it says rest, you work. If it says quit, you push. If it says you are not good enough, you sharpen your blade. You are building a fortress around your ego, and you are starving the complex of the fear it feeds on. Phase 4. The inevitability of the machine. Machiavelli advised that a leader should never be entirely predictable. It is much safer to be feared than loved, because love is preserved by the link of obligation, which is broken at every opportunity. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails. When you are undisciplined, you are predictable. People know you will quit. They know you will complain. They know that if they pressure you enough, you will fold. You are easy to manipulate because your weaknesses are visible. When you become disciplined, you become a glitch in their matrix. You stop reacting. Someone insults you. You don't get angry. You look at them, pause, and go back to work. A crisis happens. You don't panic. You analyze. You lose money. You don't cry. You rebuild. This lack of reaction is terrifying to manipulative people. They rely on your emotional volatility to control you. When you remove the buttons they used to push, they are powerless. Your consistency becomes your weapon. Imagine a man who shows up every single day. He doesn't complain, he doesn't brag, he just executes year after year. You cannot stop him. You cannot discourage him. You cannot distract him. That man is scary because he is inevitable. You want to be that man. You want to be the force that cannot be bargained with. This is not about being aggressive. It is about being implacable like a glacier, slow, silent, but crushing everything in its path. This requires you to kill the part of you that craves sympathy. Stop telling people your problems. Stop posting about your bad days. Stop looking for a pat on the back. When you look for sympathy, you are showing your belly. You are showing the world where you can be hurt. Stand up straight. Fix your face. Walk with purpose. Even if your world, wood is burning down, you do not let them see you sweat. This is not faking it. This is framing it. You are framing reality. You are telling the world, I am in control, and eventually you will be. Phase 5, the standard of the absolute. Why do you fail? You fail because your standards are too low. You have accepted a version of reality where trying is enough, where almost is okay. You have accepted the salvation fantasy. You obsess over the perfect routine, the perfect diet, the perfect morning. You think if you just do the ritual perfectly, you will be redeemed. Stop it. That is just a new cage. You can wake up at 5 a.m., lift weights, and journal every single day. But if you still haven't applied for that new job, if you still haven't had that difficult conversation, if you still haven't started the project you secretly dream about, you are just doing a lazy dance of self-deception. You are using the facade of discipline to hide from the terror of your own life. Machiavelli studied the great empires, Rome, Sparta. They didn't fall because of external enemies. They fell because they rotted from within. They lost their discipline. They became soft. Luxury made them weak. You are living in the most luxurious time in human history. You have heating, delivery, food, endless entertainment, pornography, sugar, drugs. Everything is designed to make you soft. Everything is designed to sedate you. To be disciplined in this world is an act of rebellion. You must declare war on comfort. You must set standards that seem unreasonable to everyone else. Why do you wake up at 4 a.m.? Why do you verify every detail? Why do you refuse to eat that? Because I am not you. That is the internal monologue. You don't say it out loud. You just live it. When you hold yourself to a standard of excellence, you expose the mediocrity of everyone around you. This is why they hate it. Your existence challenges their excuses. If you can do it, why can't they? It's easier for them to call you crazy or obsessed than to admit they are lazy. Let them. You must become ruthless with your time. Time is the only resource you cannot regenerate. Every second you spend arguing with an idiot, scrolling through social media, or worrying about things you cannot control is a second you have stolen from your future empire. Guard your time like a dragon guards gold. Be inaccessible. Be brief. Be direct. When people realize that your time is expensive, they stop wasting it. Discipline creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. Phase 6, the funeral of the child. This is the hardest part. This is the part where you have to hold the funeral. To become the person who scares them, you have to kill the person you used to be. You have to kill the version of you that needs to be liked. You have to kill the version of you that apologizes for having ambition. You have to look at your past, your mistakes, your trauma, your embarrassments, and you have to close the door. Jung said the biggest burden a child has to bear is the unlived life of the parents. You are carrying their dead weight, their fears, their limitations, their lack of permission to be great. Stop carrying it. You are at war with your past self. If you do not kill him, he will kill your future. He will drag you back into the old habits. He will whisper in your ear when things get hard. Just take a break. Just one drink. Just skip today. You must be ruthless. You are shedding a skin. It is painful. It leaves you raw, but it is the only way to grow. You might lose friends. You might lose a partner. You might be misunderstood by your family. This is the tax you pay for greatness. Do not complain about the tax. Just pay it. Because on the other side of that death is a rebirth. A version of you that is leaner, meaner, and faster. A version of you that operates on logic, not emotion. A version of you that sees the world as a chessboard, not a playground. This new you is scary. He scares you a little bit, doesn't he? He should. Power is always frightening, and you are building power. Not power over others, that is tyranny, but power over yourself, that is majesty. The conclusion. The cold freedom. When you walk into a room with total self-control, you vibrate at a different frequency. People yield the right of way. They don't know why, but they know you are not to be trifled with. You have that look, the look of a man who has seen the abyss and walked through it. The look of a man who has conquered his own mind. There is no greater victory. As the Stoics knew, as Machiavelli knew, as Jung knew, the man who conquers himself is greater than the man who conquers a city. So what happens when you commit to this? The noise stops. The anxiety that has buzzed in the background of your life for years, it goes quiet. Anxiety comes from knowing you are unprepared. It comes from knowing you are lying to yourself. When you are disciplined, you have nothing to hide. You know who you are. You know what you are capable of. You stop fearing the future because you are building it. You stop fearing other people because you know they cannot outwork you. You stop fearing failure because you know that failure is just data for the next attempt. You become free, but it is a cold freedom. It is a lonely freedom. It is the freedom of the wolf on the hill, looking down at the sheep in the pen. They are warm, they are safe, they are fed, but they are trapped. You are out in the cold. You are hungry, but you are free. And that is the choice you have to make today. Do you want the warmth of the herd or the power of the hunt? You cannot have both. Machiavelli wrote his philosophy in exile. He was stripped of his status, tortured and cast out. And in that darkness, he wrote the words that would change the world. He didn't need the applause. He needed the truth. Your discipline is your truth. It is the only thing that is yours. They can take your money. They can take your job. They can take your reputation, but they cannot take your discipline. They cannot take your ability to endure. That is your fortress. That is your throne. Listen to me. The world is getting softer. The world is getting louder. The world is getting more chaotic. This is your advantage. While they get weaker, you get harder. While they get distracted, you get focused. While they seek comfort, you seek the edge. You are going to scare them, not because you are trying to, but because you are a mirror reflecting everything they are too cowardly to become. Let them stare. Let them whisper. Let them fear. You have work to do. The path is cold. The path is steep, and you must walk it alone. But now you are ready. If you have made it this far, you are part of the 0.01%. You are the outlier. Prove it. Comment below, I choose the cold path. And if you want to continue this descent into the deep psychology of power, if you want to arm your mind with weapons they don't teach you in school, subscribe to the channel. Turn on the notification bell. We are just getting started. The old you is dead. Now go build the new one.